fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive.
Yo, what it do, what it do? Welcome to another episode of TDC, The Daily Chop. We are your hosts, Damian Deshawn, and of course, I'm in Mr. International. I had to catch him off the flight. You know what it is, Mr. Steve B. And shout out to our other host, 438, and of course, Breezy.
Shout out to the boys.
Yep. Shout out to them, just relaxing a little day. They had busy working and everything else. But of course, we keep it moving, and we just want to make sure we give them some love and respect with the group, man. But how you doing, man?
I'm tired, boss.
Yeah,
tired, man. I'm in a hotel room in West Virginia right now. I'm working, as y'all know. We always working and handling business before next week's gonna be a big one. I'm looking forward to having conversations with you, as well as the D&D podcast, your other podcast, finding some way to collaborate with that. I know last year you guys found some time to get me on the show to talk draft. You're from the combine. So I can't believe it's been a year. We've been rocking like that, man, but it's going to be great. We've grown so much since then, and I look forward to talking draft ball next time we get together next week for sure.
Most definitely, man. But before we keep it going, let's make sure we let everybody know to like, share, and subscribe. Please, 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 if you're watching on X, swing over to YouTube. 11 seconds of your time is what we need to help the algorithm. Also, make sure you hit that thumbs up, comment. Hey, help us out. If you want to be a little critical, hey, touch in on some things you want to see, some things we can add. We're always looking to improve. There's some things and directions we're continuing to work towards. What you see is in the completion of what you're going to get. There'll be more interviews. There'll be more breakdowns with 7-on-7, all kinds of things we want to bring your way. We're going to be working towards merch, all of those things. It's all in the works. We just, this thing is a marathon. It ain't a sprint. So we always want to do it that way. And it takes a little while to build, man. But, man, I'm going to bring up this first subject, man, before we, as we deep dive and get into it. Of course, this past weekend, last week was the Super Bowl, and one of our own, which you had the privilege and availability and ability to interview, Mr. Josh Sweat, pretty much showed his ass that night, man. A lot of us who watched it know, hey, the defense was the real MVP, and he was one of the leading factors in that defense and probably should have won the MVP of the Super Bowl. His pressure rate was extremely high. I think it was at 41% in the first half. He ended up with 2.5 sacks. I have the numbers here. Let me pull them up real quick and see if I have them. I know he had 2.5 sacks. He pressured 6. Here we go. He had a team high 6 pressures on 34 pass rushes in the Super Bowl, including 2.5 sacks. He registered, I believe, 4 tackles in that game. He was a big deal and affecting the game early on in the first half. I mean, we pretty much know it was out of balance by the time Kendrick put the mic down and closed in. We was pretty much like, this game is over.
Thanks.
But Josh he always seemed like the quiet guy. When he was at FSU, you didn't hear about any dirt, anything, coming off that big knee injury he had coming out of high school. He was one of those 5-star prospects. He pretty much kind of got in. Once he got into the league, I believe it was like 1 or 2 years after that he kind of came on. It looked like it took him a little while to really get over that injury. But he really had his best game at the best time, man, going into free agency here. It's going to be a hot commodity for someone to sign. But give your takes on it, man.
Yeah, man. I think for one, I'm not an Eagles fan, but shout out to the Eagles staff. They've been, Howie and the rest of the team there have been doing a great job drafting. This is just a product of that. Sometimes when your team is consistently having success, for you to be able to find guys like this, and you're drafting towards the back half, the back half of the rounds, every round, be able to find guys that are difference makers. We talk a lot about those Georgia guys that they've been able to bring in, but Josh about to get paid, man. numbers don't lie. We talk about the pressure rate. We talked about the 2.5 sacks and 4 tackles. I think what really put that game away was that interception that Patrick threw in the red zone. And
Yeah.
that's because Josh put that left tackle on his hip, literally sat him down on Patrick's leg. Patrick threw the ball off balance, and it was an interception. Literally right off of a turnover. Kansas City had just gotten a turnover off of Jalen Rose deep shot. I mean, Jalen Hurts deep shot. And that's one of the main differences in the game, man. We talked about it in the group chat. We were hoping he would get the MVP, but as long as Jalen finished the game in one piece, Nike and Jumpman and everybody already had that campaign ready for him to win that, man. Shout out to Jalen, though. But Josh about to get paid. I don't foresee him coming back to the Eagles because cap is cap.
Yeah.
Drafting and preparing for this. So wherever he goes, he's going to be a Super Bowl champion. He's got a bag. And then as you guys saw in that interview, man, just trying to make sure he comes back. Making sure that all the Noles know that they can always come back home. And we're looking forward to seeing him. We got a big game August 29th. And if he can come back to the city and hang out with the gang, man, hang out at Lot 19 at the tailgate with Big James and the gang, man, we would be more than happy to have him for sure.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. It's just another no. Either way, a no was going to get a ring today. He was going to, Sunday, we watched Nadi get a few. Now Josh has one. Just continuing. I believe there's a streak. Yeah, Johnny Wilson. There's a streak of no's now, consecutive streak of no's being on teams that's won the past 6 or 7 Super Bowls. Some practice, some starters, contributors. As we see, this was a major contributor here. But man, just congratulations to Josh Sweat. I ain't gonna say congratulations, Eagles, because I am a Cowboys fan, so it's kind of bittersweet, man. But we're gonna move on, man, and transition. And to our viewers, we're gonna make sure just let you know this is probably gonna be a short show, but we're definitely gonna give you something to think about and ponder and just share some information. This here, man, it's been quite interesting where we're gonna go.
That's a
with
wild
this
angle, my boy. Why you pick
that?
Hey, Deshaun, that type of time again, man. Watch out for this guy.
Well, shoot, you always see that. I've seen several angles in this situation on the timeline, and a few of my fellas have caught me scissor. Basically putting it on the camera for folks. So why not keep it going, I guess. Man, we've seen several takes on this performance, good, bad, indifferent. People have had their opinions on the symbolism, different things, their opinions on whether he should have done it then, how much he put in. But what I wanted to talk about was the reaction that it seems to come from those who are either politically right-wing or I see we got our boy host in here. Let me tell him to bring him up. What up, 4-3? What up, man?
What's good with you? What's good with you?
There you go.
That's good. There you go.
I know I smelt money in the chat.
Man, but we touching on Kendrick, man, and we just talking about the criticism that's coming from those on the I would say central right to right, and some of the criticisms from other celebrities or siblings of celebrities that have had a lot of things to say negative about it. And you're really seeing a revealing that kind of comes out. Those who get it or got it, and those who didn't. But it's pretty much what you're seeing. I'm gonna bring a video up for our listeners and our watchers to take a view. If you haven't seen this, you'll recognize the face of this particular celebrity. I've seen him in a few movies. He plays in some mob movies. I think the last movie I really remember his face in was one of the James Bond movies where he played the main antagonist, License to Kill. That was one of them old ones that I used to like to watch. But he had a lot to say. I hope that I got it set where everyone can hear it, but I'm going to go ahead and play it. And y'all let me know if you can't, because we can get that fixed.
I can't hear it.
Okay. All right. Let me make sure. I'm gonna take it down real quick, and y'all just
bear with it. That dude, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get this right, and we'll redo it.
But this is just,
when
you have a president like we got, man, everybody feels like they can, openly say wild shit like this, man. And I'm sure 438 will agree with me, man. I appreciate when some of these, racist folks tell us how they feel, because then we know where they stand. I'd rather you let me know how you feel rather than be in the shadows doing some sneak stuff. How you feel about it, man?
I don't know if he's there. But for me, man, I just look at it as it's just more of the same. These folks are going they're revealing, like I said, man. Folks will tell you who they are. It just takes a little while for it to come up. I think I may have it now for our viewers. So let me bring it back and then you
Yeah.
let me know if I got it.
Dear fellow Americans, just
That
my
better?
quick little rant on this halftime nonsense. I mean, come on, stop with the ghetto crap. I'm done with the ghetto. I've had it up to here with ghetto. I know they want to say rap is this and rap is the streets and rap is the current and rap is the that. Look at jazz. The jump black and jazz blues artists. Give me the Count Basie band. Give me Duke Ellington's band. Give me the history. Give me jazz. You want to go black? Go art. Don't go ghetto. Let's lift the streets. Let's lift these kids off the streets. Enough with the garbage. Enough with the garbage. Enough with bringing these kids down into the garbage. Like that's the cool thing to do and this and that. No, those gentlemen that created an art form, a gorgeous art form, those jazz artists. Let's propagate that in America. Enough with this bullshit. Who in the NFL hired this act? And Sam Jackson monkeying around.
Woo!
I mean, that's I'm sorry. It just repulsed me. It absolutely repulsed me. What was the point? What's the point? Let's lift the kids. Let's give them something to aspire to, talent to aspire to. Let's train them in instruments and jazz and stop this rap crap that everybody thinks is the new Shakespeare. It's not. It's garbage. It's not lifted. It's down. It's down.
On Black History Month too, man. This man wants to tell us
Black
what
history.
our culture is and what we need to be playing and what we need to be teaching our kids. And oh man, I would argue to ask him what he's done for the black community since he's so concerned about it. But Sam Jackson monkeying around, you're talking about one of the most successful actors, period, in the history of American cinema. So he might have something personal against Sam, but he definitely has something personal against black folk. Nobody wants to see Duke Ellington. I love Coltrane. I love Miles Davis. I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we ain't fucking playing that shit for the Super Bowl, bro. And you know that. They never played it before. They're not going to play it now. Like
Exactly.
And while the ratings show how people felt about it.
Yeah.
But what would the ratings be if you had Duke Ellington's band or whatever the hell he's talking about? You think you can go into the projects and bring out a cello and a saxophone and tell these kids about who the fuck these guys were? Nobody want to hear that shit, man. These kids want to hear this shit. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't understand it. You know?
No.
They fear what they don't understand. That's what it's always been.
Exactly. It's also about safety. A lot of times people want to feel safe, and when they don't feel safe, they lash out. His situation, I can see a lot of old generation, you know, especially he doesn't even understand who that artist is. You speaking street like he was coming out there talking about pop this, do that. You know the cliche stuff and the same stuff they always talk. Bitches this, hoes that, you know, when they argue against rap, guns this, gun. Kendrick ain't even on that time.
No.
So that tells me he didn't even do his homework. He just saw a black artist up there that was, and apparently as he wants to hide behind jazz or blues, it wasn't jazz or blues. Let's just put the quotation marks up there. Pretty much told the story too when you said you referred to Sam Jackson and then you said monkeying around. You just told us what you are. I just look at it as he's just another one of the racist Italians who say those kind of things. He used a lot of that rhetoric that we see in that style of language that we see a lot in the movies, especially in those mob movies that we go watch. The way they perceive us as a people and our culture. I will speak to this also, and like that is a culture in which we develop. There's good and bad in everyone's culture. I'm like, if you take where his background, we knowing he's Italian, we can quickly tell you negativities and stereotypes about them. They're all in the mob, this and that. You can say Irishmen, what they say about them. They believe their mother's a saint, but the dad drink whiskey and the dad beats the mom. Come on, we can keep the stereotypes going. When we want to go to Latinx, what's the stereotypes there? Whether you're Mexican or this is just more of the same. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but we've all heard these prejudice or these preconceived or stereotypical type of references used towards multiple communities, but in particular our community, and how we're always placed in a place of criminal activity. And it really frustrates me even listening to it again, because I just see it as He didn't even do any homework. You don't even know. Obviously, you don't even know anything about the particular artist who was performing because you categorized and labeled him under an umbrella and a genre of that music of hip hop that he's not even under. That's not his lane. He doesn't do that lane of style of hip hop, So it's just more bullshit, more of the same.
And you got to watch what the NFL's been doing with their acts the last few years, man. We're not fucking listening to the Who anymore. Y'all remember what it was pre-2010, like what these acts look like, man. They're not marketing to his genre, his demographic. They're marketing to the younger demographic. So it's like you're washed, bro. Nobody cares what you want to listen to. You can listen to that shit in Sirius XM in your car, but when it comes to what moves the needle, this is what moves the needle now. Because this performance was so pro-black and symbolic.
Yes.
The real question, Deshaun, is what the fuck do they follow this up with next year? Do they go with a safe white act, or do they keep pushing the needle? I mean, maybe guys in the chat can tell me who they think. If we do go with another black artist, who would they go with? Who's worthy of the stage?
You know what? And that's a good topic, because even amongst our own community, whether it's the African American community, the Latin community, who give opinions on this performance, some of us preferred more ass shaking than anything with a message. Whether we like the artist or not, take the art for what it was. The actor referred to art that was art. That was a form of art within hip hop. If you took the time, some people, I get it. Some people don't want to think when it comes to entertainment. They don't want a message, but I find it also hypocritical, because in times when people are affected, then they want the message. If he didn't give a message, then there was like, well, why he didn't give a message? Why he wasn't being himself? Now, I know 3-6 did a breakdown of this also, and he said there was some other things he could have did, and I do agree in some other areas and with his music, other songs he could have put in timeliness and could have strategically placed. But for what it was supposed to be and the message he was trying to come across with, I mean, I liked it. I didn't mind it. And a lot of people, like I said, they don't know the music because people want to be entertained. A lot of people hate it. I've heard it in the spaces on the timeline. They can't stand him. It's aggravating. I've heard so many different things of what was said. But in presentation, we have to ask ourselves as a people, how much more do we want to be entertaining in the time we're situations that we're facing right now? How much more ass shaking do we got to have from artists? We saying on one hand, we don't want our artists to be leaders. Artists shouldn't be the leaders. We done heard the opposite side say, shut up and dribble, shut up and sing, shut up and rap. But when we get that, then we ourselves within our community too become critical, because it's not the status quo of what we want. And it's not presenting what we believe should be entertaining or entertainment. So I look at it as we have to really, it's a mirror thing for us as a community, but dealing with the outside, they don't understand, and we shouldn't expect them to understand. I mean, hip hop has always been that. You ain't from, what it say? You ain't from the ghetto. You ain't never been to the ghetto, so stay out the ghetto. That kind of reference. Anybody knows that bar, they know. You ain't from our culture, so we don't expect you to understand it. But take it for him not to even obviously take any time to even do any homework on it is really what really caught me off guard, But we can move on, and we can move on to our next file. Before we move on to our transition to our next, though, let's make sure we shout out our topics here. This is usually what, I don't know, 438 had to step away for a minute. This is usually his segment, but we're gonna go and shout out our boy Peter Shields. What's good with you, Pete? How you doing? My Trey, what's good? Locked in.
Navy in there too, huh?
Navy and his bitch for show.
Let's go.
See what else we got down here. What up, Adrian Lane? 757.
Navy enjoying the day off for once, man. Navy work 25 hours a day, man.
Yeah. I agree with you. K-Dot was a good choice. It was a good choice, man. Great choice. But we're going to transition into our next segment. Y'all know what it is. As usual, it is Logos Matters.
But understand something. Every time you go out, you got to prove your stripes. Score of every game when you start, 0-0. You don't get to carry no points over. You don't get to carry anything over. You got to start, you got to finish. But here's the great thing. You control what happens to you.
Are we going to let them beat us? Let's get out there and get on.
All right, I'm gonna bring this up, man. And before we get to talking about it, I'm gonna go ahead and show the little video that I believe was released from Tour Duty earlier this week. We'll let it
He said, I'm going to do a little bit more to go win this.
All right, man. You know what? What I've gotten out of that is you can't take much from it. It's just video segments. So we know the expectations, me, myself, this year, I'm going to temper them. What I'm hoping to see as we get into the actual spring practice is more physicality to start in those practices. I'm looking to see different drills. But from what I took from this video, I think there's an energy. There's a difference. You know, there may be a difference in the energy. My expectation of just business, you know, not so much flash bravado. I'm hoping that we don't get a lot of the coach talk and rhetoric. I just hope we get heads to the ground, you know, straightforward. Let's just get to work. You know, that's been the moniker or the motto over the last 4-5 years since Norvell's been here. So I would actually like to see that. But you got anything you would like to discuss on this expectations?
Yeah, I think the FSU media team does a fantastic job from being around them a couple of times, but none of that shit matters. I think it's a complete 180 from last offseason and what our expectations were. You know, we were just so focused on the little things, right? Oh, this guy looks like he's bigger. He looks like he's stronger, but does that translate to the field on Saturdays? Is he can our linemen pick up, can our linemen, pick up blitzes? Can they block the guys in front of them? Can they move guys out the way? Can our running backs hit the hole? Can our receivers get open in one-on-one? Speed ending in zones. Can our quarterback make reads? All those things were no. All these questions, the answer was no. It's the worst. I know you're the historian. You talk about what things looked like back in the 60s, but it's the worst, particularly with being a preseason top 10 team, is the worst season in the history of the program. And Mike's coaching with his back against the wall. All that coach talk, it don't matter. I mean, I think a lot of the guys that were cancers and things like that have left. So maybe you can still kind of recycle that message. But, I'm going to temper my emotions on what's going on, but I have a good feeling of what's going to happen. I think there's no spotlight on us, man. We're not the punching bag this year, right? Everybody's going to be focused on some other team that's going to precipitously drop. So with us, if we handle business, I saw your predictions and some of the other guys, and if we hit 8-4, I'm happy. I'm gonna be at whatever bowl game it is to support the team, because look at the difference between what happened last year and this year. So I'm just looking for the small things, man. And the spring physicality is difficult to see because we only have so much access. And there's been a fractured relationship with some of the other Florida State media that didn't keep it a being with us. So we're gonna have to judge it with our own eyes. And we're gonna keep it real with our little small piece of the pie, the people that rock with us. So what we see, we'll let y'all know. But I don't have any expectations right now. But I'm optimistic nonetheless. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it's more so for me curiosity than it is any expectation. The first thing for me is looking at the offense. That was the biggest glaring issue. Offensive line. They brought in 5 different offensive linemen. A lot of people are going to look at the surface and the expectation of how the 5 starters are going to gel. I'm looking deeper. I'm looking at how they prepare those who are in rotation and as backups, because that's where it's going to come. Dings and bruises going to come. Not all 5 of those guys may not finish the whole season, playing every game. They may have to miss a play. Hey, we may be fortunate that they all play the whole season with limited, injury issue. That's one thing. I'm interested to see how much of Gus's offense, what type, what form, how much of the playbook does he open up? It's been basically labeled as the wing T on, his offense always been the wing T on steroids. We've talked about the limits that he has in the passing game. I'm curious to see where he and Mike can put their heads together and come up with different concepts in the passing game to simplify things for Castellanos and also make the passing game effective. You don't want to be one dimensional, but we also understand the first thing and foremost, their mindset, and you can already tell early, is to run the ball. I mean, that was a glaring issue, a reason why if we could have ran the ball last season, I don't think we're 2-10. I'm not saying we're 10-2, but we at least win 6 games if we could run the football. It's obvious. We beat Memphis if we could run the football. We win some of those other games. We may not beat Clemson. We may not beat Miami if we, but we definitely would have beaten the Memphises of the world. We win that Georgia Tech game if we could run the football and stop the run. On the defensive side, it's a little bit more intriguing because I'm looking at it's going to be an amoeba. And by that, I mean the interchangeable parts. We have a lot of bodies, not a lot of big names, which may work out better. But what we do have is about a lot of fits, guys who body-wise do fit the system. Their size, even the freshmen they were bringing in. If you looked at what was his name, Lee, one of the freshman linemen, you got the JUCO linemen. They're all at least 270 to 280 pounds. Tony White is known to interchange his linemen. So you could see when they run a 3-3 stack, you don't know who's coming. So you can stand up a guy, you can put a guy down in the dirt who was standing up previous player to it, different front looks, all of that. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from there and how they do it. But on the offensive side of the ball, I'm really intrigued by what Gus and Mike does, how they cook up creative plays. I know Gus with the sugar huddle and all the little things with tempo, he still kept that at UCF. It's a lot of things that he did at Auburn that he didn't necessarily do at UCF anymore. I'm wondering if he's going to blow the dust off of some of those old plays, some of the formations and things that he did. And it's going to be interesting to see. And because there's no spring showcase, we won't as a fan base get to see anything until that Alabama game. So that's also a plus. Yeah. For those who, one more thing I'll add is for those who don't know, even though Nick is not at Alabama, Gus is one of the rare coaches that has been a thorn in that run. He was able to give Alabama fits, whether they beat them or not, while he was at Auburn. He gave Nick some problems at times. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do and draw up. Alabama doesn't know what they're doing. All they can do is get film on him at UCF and Auburn, but they don't know what's going to be cooked up on both sides of the ball with FSU.
That's a good thing. There's an opportunity, man. There's an opportunity for these guys to make it cool to be at FSU again. I've been on record saying that the class of 2026 and 2027 is way better than what we saw in 2025. I know we put a lot of focus on the transfer portal, but there's some difference-making guys that can step in right away. And if you show promise, if you show that it's cool to be back at Florida State with all the new upgrades, with the stadium going to be completed, with the football-only facility, with maybe even leaving the conference in the future, whatever that looks like, man, if these kids can believe, it's almost like the transition between the end of Bobby and the beginning of Jimbo. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Mike's been here 5 years already. But there's a unique opportunity where you can really move the needle, and we could kind of see it. We talk about it in the spaces all the time when we kind of felt it. When we start getting some of these guys, the LaMarcus Joyners, all these guys starting to come in, you're like, oh, hey, something feels different here. All we need is this and all we need is that. And then it all just came together in a year. So I'm not expecting no natty in 2025 or anything like that. But if we can set up a solid season to get things going, driving momentum with everything that's going to happen on the back end, then I think the bank accounts will continue to open up from the booster end. Yeah. And we'll get what we need from there. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And lastly, I'll add from that video that we watched, for those outsiders who believe they were broke, the move right there, that was a move. Tallahassee Health, you hadn't seen that label put on.
They didn't drop that there by coincidence.
Yeah, they didn't drop that by coincidence. So there's money on the floor. And there's a different philosophy and even how they're recruiting. We've discussed that in the past. There's some things that they're doing different in how they approach the season and how they've approached the off season. But I'm gonna go ahead and move into our next segment. We want to give a shout out to actually one of those running backs that's in the room that we don't know necessarily how things will work out with the players and personnel. But as far as what he's doing in the track scene, Makai Danzy is definitely making a name for himself on that circuit. Third all time, 46.1 in the 400. I don't know if this is going to push him into the Marvin Bracey situation where he just says, hell, I might just go on and hit the Olympic scene, the track scene, or do I stick with football? He's one of those guys that he has that ability to do so. We haven't seen his best football yet, but we're already getting what the expectation was in the track area. But you got anything you want to touch on?
Shout out to Rose real quick, man. Thanks for hopping in, Rose. Now, where your bitch ass been at? Anyway.
And ass too.
We talk about the Marvin Bracey situation, and we're talking such a great era of Florida State, man. Yeah. We talk about those signing days all the time. That Tuesday in February used to be a holiday to us, man. I remember distinctly, even with Marvin Bracey out of the Orlando area and a lot of the guys that we were getting in Florida. But the main thing that made Marvin slide was the money.
Yeah.
If this kid keeps putting up these numbers and he shows up to spring the right way, and they find a way to get this kid the ball, there's going to be some NIL money for him, man. He might not need to go pro right away. He might be able to hold off for a year and go from there. Now, I think there is a certain level. If he starts breaking that record again, it seems every week he's breaking a record. Mm-hmm. If this guy goes and fucks around and wins the ACC championship and finishes top 5, top 7 in the NCAAs or something like that, yeah, he might be gone. But I want to see this kid on the gridiron, find a way to give him the ball. The size and speed combo is hard to find. This kid is not running these numbers at 155.
No.
Go ahead and search his height and weight.
Yeah.
Not a small kid.
He's well over 6 foot, right? He's like 6'1". Yeah. Yeah, legit 6'1". I'm not saying he's as big, and I'm not going to put no Sammy Smith label because he plays the same position, but the irony that, he plays the same position, not the same size, but the same height. But of course, playing running back, and it's some comparisons there. When you run track, man, I'll just go with 3-6 says. And a player that we've gotten from Florida High, I can't name a bad player. And the players that's come out of Florida High, that's went to Florida State, they've always shined. Under the radar players, but when they show up in Tallahassee and they show up to FSU, they've always showed out. But we just wanted to give a shout out to Makai and make sure we touch on all bases FSU. Definitely
before we get into the shits. Man, next up, I got to give a shout out to our baseball and softball team. I'm gonna show 3 clips from some dingers, but our softball team has what do you call it? 1 run rule, 2 straight run rules. It was like a 9-1, and then the men's team is debuting this week, and they've already come out. Jamie Arnold pitched a gym the other night. 8 Ks, best kid, 8 Ks. Pretty much just doing his thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some video up here for those who didn't see anything, hadn't been had a chance to see anything.
Rips, right center, Farrell puts a charge into it. See ya! First home run of the season belongs to Drew Farrell.
That's just one. I just had to show these dingers, man.
Chicks dig the
long ball. Definitely. Max Williams, here's one from 2 hours ago. I'm going to bring it up. Hold on one moment.
Shout out to the fans, man. The attendance has been crazy.
Loyalty, man. That's when we discuss baseball, football, we know that's Florida State sport. When they talk about basketball, we're like impartial because we're like, we ain't never really been great.
Yeah, we've been consistently great with baseball, and those all garners look hard.
Yeah, this is a football and a baseball school, but because I brought up basketball, man, I had to go ahead and we're gonna transition right into it, man.
Top 10 ugliest players in the history of the NBA. Sam Cassell, man.
But anybody remembers, I will definitely admit that I have not been a long-lasting Florida State basketball fan. I can't really call any of us that totally are basketball fans when it comes to FSU basketball as a whole. Now, I support the university as a whole, but I do particularly remember the 93 team with Charlie Ward, Bob Sura, and I think what was it, Edwards? Was it Doug Edwards?
Doug Edwards.
Yeah, Doug Edwards, because I do remember his brother. I was growing up watching Kentucky basketball, being that's where I was from. His brother Allen was on a few of those championship teams. So, but just getting Sam would be a big thing because you have a guy with not only NBA experience, NBA coaching experience. I mean, that right there would get him in the living rooms to be able to get the type of talent that he need and would be needed to balance things out and have at least have the program respectable. I think the biggest question is, why is it that he's not been a NBA head coach at this point? He's interviewed several times. I don't know, behind the scenes, I've heard people say things, not necessarily the great interview. I don't know. That's speculation. It's nothing that I can go off of right offhand. I don't know anything. But as far as him coming home and being the head coach here and the leading candidate right now, I'm really all for it. I mean, I think that would be a home run hire. But what you got?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been around basketball a long time. Went to Dunbar High School, one of the greatest basketball programs, high school programs of all time. Before he went to Florida State. It's funny, man. I watch a lot of different podcasts, and what's the one that Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson have? I think is
I know what you're talking about, but I
can't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
and a lot of times they'll ask who's the first. Well, it's not that; it's the knuckleheads. A lot of times the knuckleheads will have it with Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson. They'll ask who's the first player to bust your ass, and a lot of people say Sam Cassell. He's got an old man game. He was able to stretch that out for a long time, but his coaching career has been great. I mean, look at the players that he's been able to develop, that he's been credited with developing, with the John Walls and the Bradley Beals, as well as the Tyrone Maxeys, even down to what he's been doing in Boston with those guys there. He's a player's coach. Over 30 years of NBA experience, multiple NBA championships. He knows how to. I think maybe he might be better suited for the college game right now before he makes a step to the NBA. But pay whatever you need to pay to get this guy here, man. We need a facelift. I know this team is fighting their ass off with the talent that they have this year. Yeah, but who knows what you can get with a fresh facelift by bringing this guy on?
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely.
All the smoke.
Thanks,
Rose.
All the smoke. Shout out to you, Rose. Shout out to Boss Man too. Popped up. He says Sam Cassell's face do make you want to hit the transfer portal.
There you go. Top 5 ugliest players of all time in the league, man. Man, look like a mouse,
man.
but we love him. He's one of our own.
But he's one of our own, man. Definitely a shout out to him. And also, while we're doing shout outs, we didn't start off the show with what we normally do, but let's make sure we give a shout out to our girl, our lady, candle lady, Miss Tanya, Wonder Woman 850, Affluent Candle. Make sure y'all check her out on the timeline and tap in with her. And of course, we want to make sure we shout out Domo Athletics. That's Big Game James and his organization over there. They're 707 and everything else. They got merch, whatever you need. Anybody have an inspired athlete in that area, the Jacksonville area and beyond, that you're trying to get your son involved in 707, tap in with 36, James Coleman and Domo Athletics. Okay, and before we move on to our next segment, make sure we shout out. There she is, Miss Candle. Shout out to you, Tanya. We really appreciate you. Everything for your support, everything. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hold on, my man here, my tray. Sam looked like a Martian. Most definitely, man.
That's a fact.
Miss Tanya shot you out again, 4-3.
Hey, shout out to Tanya, man. What's up with you?
Most definitely. This last segment we wanted to touch on before we get into anything with our crash outs, man. Not just it being the month of February, but with everything being under attack when it comes to culture, culture of those of minorities, black culture, African American culture, whatever culture of people of color seems to be under attack, whether it's DEI or any of those things. So we always want to make sure that we give a little love, shout out to those people who came before us and paved the way. With this one in particular, I decided to keep a little Florida State flavor, so I'm gonna bring it up. These three unique individuals are the first three people to integrate into Florida State University. Maxwell Courtney is the first African American to attend the university, I believe 1962, I believe. We know the story, enduring prejudice, racism, everything from being spit on, yelled at, called all kinds of things. But he was able to, achieve, graduate. Um, just a success story. But the next one I wanted to touch on here in particular was Jacqueline DuPont Walker. That's the lady in the middle, and then the lady on your far right of your screen is Kamina Green Bostic. They both followed Maxwell to Florida State in 1963. And Jacqueline was the first undergraduate to graduate from FSU, the first black female. I just wanted to give a little shout out to make sure that we know. Steve, you attended, so I believe there's a statue there that I don't know where it's called. I would have to go back and look it up, but it pays homage and honor to those who paved the way in during civil rights and the black struggles during those times in integration into in Florida State University and multiple universities across the South and even the Midwest, West, and Northeast. We're not going to pretend like it was just all peaches and cream everywhere else, but I just wanted to give a special shout out and thanks to those three individuals and their families for the struggles that they went through and making it possible for people of color to be able to attend the university, Florida State University. One thing I'll add though, we pay for college today. We endure a lot of these hardships and things. They didn't exist before integration. They exist because of integration. So anyone who is on the outside looking in as far as our community and you don't understand, you see yourself as an ally, we want you to understand it may be something you don't know, but you got to understand a lot of these programs exist today because we didn't have those opportunities. These opportunities had to be written into laws to create the opportunity, to give us an opportunity to even get to the plate. So it wasn't and it isn't an advantage for us over you. It was an opportunity to even the playing field where we'd have an opportunity for our credentials and just to be able to get our foot in the door based off of merit. There is no merit without the Brown versus Board of Education. There is no merit without these other things like DEI. These things have to exist. And I'll put it at this, and then y'all can go ahead and follow up as soon as I'm done. The time is out for people who look like me to have to constantly be exceptional when the people who don't look like us get to be mediocre and average and get the same advancements or advance further by being average. If you want it even across the board, then let's keep it even and let's all get in off of merit. But that we both know that's not true because that's not the nature of this country. But y'all go ahead and give y'all opinion.
Big shout out to them, man. I mean, we wouldn't have the university we have. I had a great experience at Florida State. Did I wish there was more of us there? Of course, but still a great experience. There's so many people that go to school there that are black, that aren't athletes, have nothing to do with it. Just, love the university from wherever they're from all throughout the country and came. Shout out to our neighbors at FAMU as well that also helped make that Tallahassee experience great. But of course, this is an ongoing battle. It's always going to keep going. It's not perfect. Florida State's not perfect. It's not for everybody.
Yes.
But it's damn sure not what it was in 1961 before these amazing individuals came along. So I loved my experience. Hopefully my kids can go as well. We're also black. And let's keep it going, man. Shout out to everybody at Florida State. And I think this, as we continue to have this information available, we're just going to continue to learn and hopefully grow from it. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Definitely. You got anything you want to add, 4-3?
Yeah, man. Shit, we keep doing our thing as black people. Shit, fuck them. We ball. Shit, fuck them.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Well, as we transition, man, we're gonna go into one of our best segments and our favorite segments. It's our crash outs. Y'all know what it is. All right, man. Our first crash out. They brought him in. I guess they caught him texting, pulled him over, and they caught him
Yes,
riding
sir.
dirty, man. But I gotta play a little bit of this, man. Caught him dirty, man. Just off of texting.
Right
and
by
driving.
Lennox Mall, man. You can't ride dirty around Lennox.
You can't be on that cell phone when you drive. You can roll that window down for me. I was on my GPS. I'm just trying. You got your license? I have a picture of it. You all right? Yes, sir.
Nervous. The fingers moving.
When's the last time you smoked, boss? It's about yesterday. I smoked yesterday, but I didn't smoke. You all right? No.
He's spooking it good.
Now, look, listen. In Atlanta, it's just a ticket. Now, if you lying to me, then we're gonna have to go home. I got this. All right, boss. Look, honestly, go a long way. Right. All right. That's what I'm saying. I smoked earlier. I mean, it's a little. You know what I'm saying? A little 2 grams, man. This ain't nothing. All right, we're gonna get you out the car. We're gonna search the rest of the car. All right. All right, boss. Step out for me. Step out for me.
You should have hit that race right there.
Man.
You turn around for me.
30.
There you go.
He don't know what he want to do right here, man. Do I run? Do I stay or do I go?
Man.
Boss, stop moving. Stop moving.
He nervous as all
Boss,
get out.
boss, stop moving. That's my last time telling you stop. Stop. We're gonna teach you, boss. Stop.
All right, I'll bring it down from there. That's just a little segment for everyone to see. But I'll read. It says APD caught the damn load. They pulled bro over in Lennox for texting and driving, searched the whip, and they found 5 bricks, 35 pounds of weed, 100 pounds of ice, and worth $70K. They can't blame him for fighting, but that was just, bro. When you come on, if you're gonna do it, you got to be straight to the point, man. Follow everything.
Us, bro. 4-3. What did he do wrong? What did he do right? Tell us what the
Hey, listen, man. He texting on the phone. That's number one, man. Listen, you can't do 2 illegal things at one time. You feel me? Exactly. So you got to just focus on one. You get what I'm saying? So all that you smoke, you can wait till you complete the mission, man. But the mission, all that, you got to wait till the mission done, man. And at that point, once you get pulled over, at that point, you might as well just hit it. You going to jail regardless. So shit, take your chances. You better take your chances, hit it. You feel me? And get up out of there. But he gone. He finna snitch on everybody. He finna tell on everybody. Yeah, he telling on everybody. He was telling in the back of the car. He was telling once he got to the back of the car.
Not in that vehicle, man. He can't hit the race in that vehicle. They would have got his ass before he got
to he could have hit that bitch enough for him to get himself up out of there. Fuck inside the car. I got up out of there. They can fire the car. Look, I'm gone.
Most definitely. All right, man. This is the FN. He one of them that consistently get the FN award from me. Stephen A says he would divorce Serena Williams over her appearance in the halftime show of the Super Bowl. If I'm married and my wife going to troll her ex, he looking at it basically. That's just insecurity. Anything he does, it is what it is. We know exactly what he is. Just dot both his eyes under the bottom, and we know what we call them. He's a straight raccoon. It is what it is. Under the guise of just a straight journalist, he's hiding behind journalism, and he's nothing but an walking opinion piece. I mean, he gives takes on sports he never played, and obviously we know the story, man. It's just more of the same bullshit with Stephen A. But that's what I have for him, man. Y'all got anything y'all want to touch on that with him?
No.
Okay. All right,
Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, I had one more I was trying to find that I had saved. This is a good funny one. I'll bring it up. This was hilarious. Oh yeah, and then I got one more I'm gonna talk about after this one here. We can
Too many crash outs in 2025, man.
This right here had me laughing. Did y'all see this one?
Oh yeah.
Let our viewers
Look, magnesia.
Trying to do just have a good old time dancing. Here comes single white female that thinks she's the black man's dream, and everybody wants her. Tries to dance with him, ain't got no rhythm, and then boom, here come the black woman. That beautiful black woman that got all the rhythm and soul because she was genetically made and created for her black man. And then watch how when they start dancing together and then coming together, got rid of the single white female. Ain't nothing better than that.
Wow.
She could have walked away, would have been better. The whole throwing the hands up.
Yeah.
I think one of the comments said that's that inferiority complex or something. I was dying laughing when I seen this, man. Like, she was trying to get taken home. She was trying to get chosen. It's around Valentine's Day, but
exactly.
Get your cricket grasshopper looking ass up out of here, boy. We don't want that.
Man,
I know 438 don't dabble in the milk. He definitely don't dabble in that milk. That's for sure.
Oh, that boy say black queens forever, snow bunnies never. Fuck it, I feel him. Hey, get that back off me. Hey, get that back off me. Keep that back somewhere else.
All right. Lastly, guys,
I like yams. I don't like potato salad.
Right.
Hey, keep that. I'm a yam type of nigga. I don't like potato salad.
You like yams, like the little red potatoes, right?
Yeah.
And now you can't go. This subject is one I wanted to ask you guys. We haven't had a space where we could talk about it, but it's been in the talks. I'm gonna bring this picture up so y'all already know where I'm going with it. Ryan Williams signs an deal with the nail polish company. Now he says that it's in support of his sister, I believe, who supposedly has a business or starting a business, inspiring. So he does it to be supportive. But as 438 has shared his thoughts, what are your thoughts, Steve, on that move? 1, 2, not just the business move, but the aspect of just the entirety of the criticism and everything. How do you, y'all both your opinion actually on the criticism he's received over this?
Not all money is good money. I really feel bad for him. I really feel bad for the people around him that didn't give him the right advice. I don't know if his father's active in his life, if his mother's active in their life, if they are, good for them, but they clearly did the bad decision. If that's my son, bro, this ain't the way. And I remember one of the comments on when I first seen this, it said, hey, how many WNBA players have a Sally Hansen deal? Fucking 0, bro.
Yeah.
None of them. None of the softball players, Shakuri from running track, none of them have this shit. You know what angle they're going with, man. I can't watch a Netflix show without them trying to push an agenda. Now I got to watch a guy that's a baller. Hey, look, man, I hope he get his ass clamped up on August 29th. No touchdowns, no catches. Student section, come out and do what y'all need to do and troll this cat, man. He not like that. I already seen him against Michigan. He got his ass locked up, man. Now he's worried about signing deals with nails and all this other foolishness, bro. At the end of the day, man, focus on the main thing. Focus on football, man. I don't see Jamar Chase doing this. I don't see Jettas doing this. AJ Brown, you name it. None of these boys is doing this. You need to worry about the game and not about these endorsements. And if you are going to worry about the endorsements, this certainly ain't a good one. Cam Coleman, who also came in your draft class, that man has a Crystals endorsement.
Yeah,
makes more sense. This you just giving people troll
material. Yeah.
Not even that, boy. You know they say, boy, that's how they play psychological warfare on you. So, boy, once they get you in the polish, next they know you're well dressed. Next thing you know, you at them parties. I don't want to hear nothing. You'll be a documentary on it.
Have you ever been swallowed?
Yeah. See, they testing the water. They testing the water. They got him with the fingernails. This is gonna be from a fashion show. There you go. They getting him. They reeling his ass in.
Yeah, man. Most definitely, man. I understand the business move. I don't understand. I don't necessarily say I agree with the whole business idea. There's many other opportunities. maybe he's the first. He wanted to be the first, but basically, I put it this way: what he does in his personal time is his business. You know, I ain't here to speak on that. I look at that move. Hey, 2.3 million, which I'll turn down 2.3 million. Like you just said, Steve, it's all money ain't good money, right? So are you giving up, your soul or situations like that just to sell some products? Everything ain't supposed to be done in that order, but it is what it is. But man, y'all got anything y'all want to plug before we move on? And we can keep it going because we're at about 108 right now. We can go a little longer if y'all got the time.
Yeah, we can rattle that.
All right, man. But all right, man. Yesterday, it was Valentine's Day. That's a good one. This was something I wanted to kind of freelance. Did your boys want to enjoy? But I'm gonna give a little we didn't necessarily do a top 5, but top 5 Valentine's songs, Valentine's candy, Valentine's moments. Any one of those 3, man.
Jeez. Man. I'm gonna let y'all answer this.
What? Oh, why you gonna run from it? Go ahead, Pro 3.
Come again, say what?
Okay. You gonna stay? You going on mute? I got you. Well, you know what? I ain't got no shame. Hey, I've been married better than 20 years, and I have enjoyed. Really enjoyed myself last night, especially coming off of no. That did come out crazy a while, but it is what it is.
I'm telling you,
all the way around, man. No, we stepped out, man, and had a good time. Hit up the mall, a little shopping. Hey, I got took care of. So hey, it felt, it was a good feeling. All the way around.
Took care was crazy.
Yeah. Hey.
That is wild, boy.
Man, I ain't even catching these lines I'm throwing out. But hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I've been married 20 plus, 20 going on 20 plus now. I've been together 20 plus years. So hey, we really had a great time out to eat. We went out shopping at the mall, spent time right after, work, and it was just a good time, man. But I had to do this, Steve, because of what you showed us in the chat during the broadcast while we're shooting, right? I got blessed. I got blessed. Home, man. I got blessed.
Now,
when you put in work.
Yeah. That boy got that extra traction now.
Yeah. You got them extra feet grips. Hey, you got the extra feet grip.
Man,
we support the yams grabbing. We support
it. Definitely, man. I just let's put it this way. You've been married as long as I've been married, man. We were looking at it as just going to replace some appliances, and it turned into a shopping spree. And I was able to be, blessed by my wife. It was a strong, good woman, man. And I just want to say I thank you and I appreciate her. I really do. But you guys, man, I see what 4-3. You said no comment. Steve, you got something you could say, man. Come on, just keep it minimal. You ain't got to go in depth. And I wasn't trying to drop a whole bunch of nuggets like that. It just slipped out that way.
I think flowers is a good way to start. And whatever song that you guys prefer, whatever is your style. Valentine's Day is it's an interesting holiday, man. It really is. I think a lot of people do Valentine's Day for the love of the sport. They really enjoy the feels that they get from it. And I think there's a lot of sneak dissing and a lot of stuff that women do behind the scenes with Valentine's. They really just be there's two versions, right? 4-3, maybe you could back me up. There's the ones that really 3 versions. Ones that are really in love with their partner. They're happy about the whole spirit of Valentine's Day. Cool. 2, the ones that's really using this shit to show out, man. They're really just bragging and letting you know, hey, I got something you don't.
Yeah.
And 3rd, the ones that are showing they're at the nice 5-star restaurant, they got the nice dress, the hair done, the great food, but they're not showing who's taking them out.
Yeah.
And the men, y'all got to be paying attention to that, man. If y'all doing all this, y'all want the yams, y'all spending all this money on Valentine's Day, no tag, no picture, no. Oh, yeah.
Just straight food, flowers in the car flow. Damn, she can't even get the hand in that bit.
Just pay attention, gentlemen. Be smart.
I'm going to add this too. Like I said, as a seasoned veteran, to my fellas, value yourself. it's that holiday. Any other time ain't just for your partner. It's for all of us to share. In general, you share. And there's a famous line from, I can't remember the video. It was a couple of years back. What he said: "I'm not going and spending this much money to get you a whole bunch of new shit for you to give me the same old ass. That ain't how this works.
I'm telling you,
we pour into each other, you know. You pour into each other. So everybody, hey, Valentine is for everybody, and it shouldn't just be that day. If y'all down and y'all hold each other down for real, hey, it is what it is. Y'all, you know, you pour into each other and you give to each other, man. But that's it, man. Enough of the mushy shit.
Attention, gentlemen. Pay attention. Stay close, man. Watch out.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Boss man is wild. She getting up but the Andrew Reese burger at McDonald's.
And Tanya Candle.
Oh man. But man, it's just been a really wild time this week, man. For me, man, I really appreciate you, but I just want to say that online for y'all just being very supportive and understanding.
For sure, man. For sure.
I really appreciate y'all, man. Just give me a little room to get this shit in order and get some shit, because it's just been a little hectic the last 2 days, 3 days, and still don't know what's going on. But that's enough of that shit too. I don't want to be too mushy on here, but I do just want to say I appreciate you fellas, and shout out to Breezy, man. Busy, Mr. He's trying to become Mr. International too. I see. Trying to get his stuff. I get it and I understand, man. He working and he trying to get this shit going, and he working behind the scenes. So I really appreciate everything that all y'all do. I appreciate you 4-3. I appreciate you, Steve, for what.
Shout out to y'all boys, man.
Definitely shout out to our choppers, man. Appreciate y'all for staying loyal, Miss Candle Lady. We definitely appreciate everybody. But
shout out to Tanya.
Y'all got anything y'all want to plug real quick before we close it out?
438.
Oh shit, we at this motherfucker, but shit, shout out to my boy Steve, man, Mr. International, man. Shout out to him, my boy, for getting that nice Super Bowl content, all them good, you know, everything, you know, draft shit coming soon, man. Shout out to Steve, man. Steve been on scene, man. Steve been boots on the ground, you feel, making his rounds, you feel, he been holding it down. We've been busy type shit, so shout out to Steve, man. Hey, you feel, shout out my brother Sean, man, the man with the plan, you know, he had a lot of shit going on. My boy still made this shit happen, you know. I've been busy myself as well. Shout out to Breezy, but hey, we here. We made it happen for y'all. You feel me?
Yeah. Shout out to you.
Shout out to what is it called? My bad. What is it? Shout out to Tiny had a Renegade roast on Monday.
Yes, Tiny had.
Shout out to Double D's.
Shout out to my boy D and D's Corner, man. Definitely, because we're gonna get him in here when we get into this NFL Combine. But shout out to you, 438, man. You grinded. You hit in there. You getting on getting that gig, man. Everything went smooth.
Yeah.
Well, man, really, you know, just proud of you, my boy. I'm glad.
Appreciate you.
I really am, man. Steve, you know what you do. You're international. You always on the move. You keeping it moving, man. Hey, I want to get there someday with the passport. You know what I'm saying? I want that shit to stay stamped. You know, that's that next move, man. But I really do appreciate you fellas, man. And we really thank the choppers. Thank y'all for being faithful and loyal. We appreciate 105 that's watching. Once again, like, share, and subscribe. Go over to YouTube. Give us those 11 seconds to keep that algorithm moving. And just continue to watch us grow. And we appreciate y'all for watching us on this Saturday. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all here. And y'all took a little time to spend with us, you know. And we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. And we out.
We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive.